There's a paradox hidden within human nature, one that determines attraction, power, and influence. The harder you chase something, the further it drifts away. The more you cling, the weaker your position becomes. But the moment you truly let go, something shifts. You no longer appear desperate. You stop seeking validation. You radiate confidence, self-assurance, and independence, qualities that make you undeniably magnetic. This is the core of Stoic discipline, detachment, the ability to release control over external outcomes and master your emotions is the foundation of true power. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This strength is what sets high-value individuals apart. They don't chase, they attract. They don't beg, they walk away. They don't react, they remain composed. Dark psychology confirms this truth. People are drawn to what they can't easily have. When you stop seeking external approval and focus entirely on your own growth, you become unpredictable, mysterious, and ultimately irresistible. The moment you detach, the dynamic shifts. Now she's the one wondering about you, thinking about you, questioning whether you've moved on. But here's the twist: you no longer care. This is your awakening. The key to attraction, power, and self-mastery lies in emotional discipline. And once you embrace it, you'll never see relationships or yourself the same way again. If you're ready to discover the secret of becoming truly irresistible through the power of letting go, keep watching. This will change everything. Number 1. The power of silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools of influence, self-mastery, and attraction. It speaks louder than words, commands respect, and creates an aura of mystery that is impossible to ignore. In a world where people crave validation, attention, and constant reassurance, the ability to remain silent, especially when provoked, ignored, or tested, is the ultimate display of strength and control. Those who understand the power of silence hold an undeniable advantage in all areas of life: relationships, business, and personal growth. When someone pulls away, mistreats you, or underestimates your value, your immediate reaction might be to seek closure, explain yourself, or prove your worth. But doing so only diminishes your position and reinforces their power over you. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Instead of reacting emotionally, you embrace silence. You let your absence speak for itself. You refuse to engage in pointless arguments, meaningless justifications, or desperate attempts to be heard. This shift in behavior forces the other person to sit with their own thoughts, to wonder about you, and to realize the impact of your absence. Silence is also a psychological weapon. Dark psychology reveals that when you withdraw attention, the mind of the other person enters a state of uncertainty. They begin to question their choices, replay past interactions, and even feel a sense of loss. The unpredictability of your silence creates a powerful pull, making them wonder why you are no longer seeking their validation. This is why silence is so effective. It forces the other person to experience the absence of your presence, which often has a stronger impact than your words ever could. But silence is not just about influencing others. It is also about self-discipline and emotional control. True strength is demonstrated by the ability to remain composed when others expect you to react. It is about refusing to let external forces dictate your inner peace. When you stop reacting to every slight, every insult, or every moment of rejection, you regain control over yourself. You send a clear message: I am unaffected. I am in control. I do not seek validation from anyone but myself. This is what separates those who are emotionally strong from those who are easily manipulated. Moreover, silence allows you to observe and gain deeper insight into people. When you remain quiet, you get with meaningless words. By staying silent, you hold the upper hand. You listen, you learn, and you decide how to respond, if at all. Ultimately, silence is the foundation of power, respect, and attraction. It is the weapon of the wise, the shield of the strong, and the secret of those who command attention without even trying. When you master the power of silence, you no longer chase, you attract. You no longer explain, you prove through action. You no longer react, you remain in control. That is the essence of true power. Number 2, the trap of emotional weakness. Emotional weakness is the silent destroyer of confidence, respect, and attraction. It manifests in the form of neediness, insecurity, and a constant desire for validation. Those who fall into this trap often find themselves chasing people who do not value them, reacting impulsively to every emotional trigger, and surrendering their power to external circumstances. The Stoics, understanding the dangers of emotional weakness, taught that true strength comes from within, from mastering one's emotions rather than being ruled by them. Marcus Aurelius famously stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound truth highlights the core problem with emotional weakness. It hands control of your life to others. One of the most destructive aspects of emotional weakness is the desperate need for validation. Many people seek approval from others to feel worthy, believing that their happiness depends on external affirmation. This mindset makes them easy to manipulate. When someone ignores them, they panic. When they face rejection, they crumble. This emotional fragility causes them to react impulsively, over-texting, over-explaining, or begging for attention, actions that only push people further away. The more emotionally dependent you are, the less respect and attraction you command. True power lies in emotional independence, the ability to remain composed and unaffected regardless of how others treat you. Dark psychology reveals that people are drawn to those who are emotionally strong and indifferent to external approval. When you show that you can walk away without hesitation, you signal confidence and high value. But when you display emotional weakness, chasing, pleading, or allowing yourself to be disrespected, you instantly diminish your worth. Those who cannot control their emotions are easily controlled by others. This is why manipulators target emotionally weak individuals. They know they can provoke a reaction, instill doubt, and dictate their behavior. The moment you allow someone to dictate your emotional state, you become powerless. Another dangerous aspect of emotional weakness is overreaction. People who lack emotional control tend to react impulsively to situations that require patience and strategy. Whether in relationships, business, or social interactions, losing control in the heat of the moment can cost you opportunities, damage your reputation, and make you appear unreliable. The Stoic approach teaches the opposite, responding with calm, calculated detachment rather than knee-jerk emotions. A person who can remain calm in the face of adversity immediately gains respect and influence. When you refuse to let others provoke you, you demonstrate a level of control that few possess. Escaping the trap of emotional weakness requires self-awareness and discipline. The first step is to detach from external validation and recognize that your worth is not dependent on others' opinions. You must train yourself to observe your emotions without being ruled by them. Instead of reacting impulsively, learn to pause, reflect, and respond with clarity. Emotional strength is not about suppressing feelings, it is about mastering them. You control your emotions. They do not control you. Ultimately, those who overcome emotional weakness and cultivate inner resilience become unshakable. They no longer seek validation, react emotionally, or allow others to dictate their mood. They stand firm in their self-worth, unaffected by external chaos. This transformation is the key to true power, influence, and attraction. When you master your emotions, you master your life. Number 3. How her mind starts to wander. When you detach and embrace true emotional independence, something fascinating happens. Her mind starts to wander. She begins to question, to wonder, to overanalyze your absence. This is the paradox of human psychology. People value what they no longer have, and the less available something is, the more desirable it becomes. The moment you stop chasing, stop reacting, and stop giving her the validation she once expected, you shift the power dynamic completely. Suddenly, she finds herself thinking about you more than she ever did when you were actively seeking her attention. At first, she may not notice. She may even assume you're still there, waiting in the background like before. But as time passes and you remain silent, completely detached from the outcome, uncertainty begins to creep into her mind. Why hasn't he reached out? Has he moved on? Is he serious? This uncertainty is what causes her mind to wander uncontrollably. She starts replaying past conversations, overanalyzing your last interaction, and searching for clues about your current state of mind. This is where the true power of detachment comes into play. By refusing to engage in emotional games and demonstrating absolute self-control, you make her experience something she never expected: doubt. Dark psychology confirms that the human brain is wired to focus on unresolved matters. When there's no closure, no explanation, and no confirmation of where you stand, the mind works overtime, trying to fill in the gaps. The more she wonders, the more she starts to crave the certainty she once had when you distant hope of manipulating her emotions. You have been attached the need from the obsession over her reactions and from the emotional turbulence that once controlled you. This authenticity is what makes the shift so powerful. If you were simply acting indifferent while secretly hoping for her return, she would sense it. But because you have truly let go, the change in energy is undeniable. As her mind continues to wander, curiosity turns into frustration. She may start subtly testing you, liking an old post, sending a vague message, or trying to gauge your reaction indirectly. But this time, you are different. You are not emotionally invested in her response. Whether she reaches out or not, your path remains the same. You are focused on yourself, your growth, and your inner peace. This level of self-assurance is what ultimately makes you irresistible. By allowing her mind to wander without interference, you become a mystery, an enigma that she feels compelled to solve. She may have once assumed you would always be there, but now she is the one left wondering. And that, in itself, is where your true power lies. Number 4. The Stoic's revenge, becoming emotionally invincible. Revenge, in the eyes of a Stoic, is not about retaliation or proving a point to someone else. It's about becoming so strong, so unshakable, that nothing external can disturb your inner peace. The ultimate form of revenge is not seeking payback, but instead rising so high above the situation that it no longer affects you. This is what it means to become emotionally invincible. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about mastering it, understanding it, and using it as fuel for self-transformation. The moment you stop reacting emotionally to her behavior, whether she ignores you, plays games, or pulls away, you take back complete control. Emotional invincibility is the ability to remain calm, collected, and unbothered regardless of external circumstances. This is what separates the strong from the weak. Most people operate on impulse, driven by the need for validation and emotional reassurance. But the Stoic moves differently. He understands that true power lies in discipline, in the ability to remain centered no matter what happens around him. When you embody this level of emotional self-mastery, everything changes. She begins to sense that her actions no longer hold the power they once did. The tactics that used to work, pulling away to get a reaction, withholding affection to create insecurity, no longer have effect. You are immune. You have detached so completely that her presence or absence no longer dictates your emotional state, and that realization for her is unsettling. Psychology tells us that people crave control, especially in relationships. When someone can no longer predict your response, they feel a loss of power. This is why emotional invincibility is so effective. It shifts the dynamic entirely. Instead of being the one emotionally affected, you have become the one who is untouchable. And the more untouchable you are, the more she starts to feel your absence in a way she never expected. But the real victory is not about making her miss you. The real victory is in the personal transformation that happens when you embrace Stoic discipline. You no longer depend on external validation. You no longer seek closure from anyone. You no longer allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent decisions. Instead, you move through life with a quiet strength, an unshakable presence, and a deep sense of self-worth that no one can take away. This is the Stoic's revenge, not words, not actions, but an undeniable shift in power. You have mastered yourself, and in doing so, you have won the only battle that ever truly mattered, the battle within. By becoming emotionally invincible, you reach a place where nothing external can break you. And when you reach this point, something ironic happens. Suddenly, people start gravitating toward you. She starts wondering why you're no longer affected. You're happier, stronger, and completely unbothered. The act of detaching makes you more attractive than ever before. But by then, it no longer matters to you, because your focus is no longer on her, it's on yourself, your growth, and your purpose. And that is the most powerful form of revenge. Number 5. The art of indifference. Mastering your emotions. Indifference is not about carelessness, it is about control. It is the ability to remain unaffected by the opinions, actions, or emotions of others. True indifference does not stem from bitterness or resentment, but from an unwavering sense of self-mastery. When you master the art of indifference, you no longer react impulsively, no longer and you no longer allow external forces to dictate your emotional state. This is the essence of stoicism, choosing what deserves your energy and what does not. Most people operate on emotional autopilot, reacting to every slight, every rejection, every perceived insult. They get trapped in a cycle of overthinking, wondering why someone pulled away or why they are being ignored. But a true Stoic does not fall into this trap. He understands that emotions are like waves. They rise and fall, but they do not have to control him. Instead of reacting, he observes. Instead of chasing, he lets go. Instead of seeking validation, he finds strength in himself. This level of control creates a paradox. When you stop caring so much about a person's response, they start noticing your absence. When you are no longer emotionally invested in proving your worth increases. The more detached you become, the more people feel the void of your presence. This is the power of indifference. It makes you unpredictable, untouchable, and undeniably magnetic. But the real goal is not to manipulate, it is to achieve peace. When you master indifference, you are no longer swayed by external events. You do not overreact to disappointments or setbacks because you understand that they are temporary. You do not cling to relationships out of fear of because you are content within yourself. Psychologically, indifference triggers curiosity and attraction. When you are emotionally distant, people naturally wonder what is going on in your mind. When you are not easily impressed or shaken, they perceive you as someone of high value. This is why those who remain indifferent often hold more power in relationships. They do not operate from desperation, and desperation is the ultimate repellent. Mastering your emotions through indifference does not mean suppressing them. It means choosing which emotions are worth your attention. If something is beyond your control, you do not waste energy dwelling on it. If someone disrespects you, you do not lower yourself by reacting emotionally. If someone pulls away, you do not chase, you simply let them go. Because at the end of the day, the one who is least affected is the one who holds the power. When you reach this level of emotional discipline, you experience true freedom. You no longer allow the moods, actions, or decisions of others to dictate your sense of self. You become immune to manipulation, immune to mind games, and immune to emotional instability. You stand firm in your own reality, and that, more than anything else, makes you truly powerful. The art of indifference is not about pretending not to care. It is about caring only for what truly matters. It is about prioritizing your peace over temporary emotions, your growth over unnecessary attachments, and your self-respect over fleeting validation. When you master indifference, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, no one can control you ever again. Number 6. How to make her question her decision. The Stoic way. When a woman pulls away, ignores you, or decides to leave, your first instinct might be to chase, explain yourself, or try to win her back. But a Stoic man understands that chasing only reinforces her decision. Instead, he does something far more powerful. He steps back completely, allowing her to experience the weight of her own choice. By doing nothing, he forces her to question everything. The reason this works is psychological. Human nature thrives on uncertainty. When something or someone is always available, they are taken for granted. But when that presence disappears, the mind begins to wander. She starts to wonder if she made a mistake. Was he actually more valuable than she realized? Did she misjudge his worth? Has he moved on so effortlessly that she was never as important to him as she assumed? These thoughts begin to build in her mind, and suddenly she is the one replaying past moments, analyzing every interaction, and feeling the sting of your absence. Most men fail because they react emotionally. They send messages, beg for explanations, or try to prove their worth. But a Stoic man understands that his absence speaks louder than words. He does not try to convince her of his value. He allows her to discover it on her own. The less he reacts, the more she questions her decision. The less he chases, the more she starts to feel that maybe she miscalculated. Silence is your most powerful weapon. It creates doubt. It forces reflection. It removes all pressure and expectation, making her confront her own emotions without interference. She will start to recall the moments when you were present, when your energy filled the space, when your confidence made her feel something different. Now, with your absence, she must face the void you left behind. And that void is what makes her question everything. However, the key to making her doubt her decision is not just absence. It is transformation. If she walks away and nothing changes, if you are still the same person she left, then she has no reason to regret her choice. But if she sees you thriving, improving, and becoming stronger, her perception shifts. She starts to wonder if she left too soon, if she underestimated your potential, if another woman will now benefit from the man she once had access to. This is where Stoicism becomes your greatest ally. Instead of focusing on her, you focus on yourself. You channel your energy into self-improvement, mastering your emotions, and building an unshakable mindset. You become so engaged in your own growth that you genuinely stop caring whether she questions her decision or not. And paradoxically, it is this detachment that makes her rethink everything. The ultimate Stoic revenge is not anger or bitterness. It is indifference. When she expects you to react but you remain composed, she becomes intrigued. When she anticipates your return but you stay distant, she grows uncertain. And when she sees you moving forward without hesitation, she realizes that she may have been the one who lost something valuable. By embodying this level of self-mastery, you make her confront the reality of her decision, not through words, not through arguments, but through action, or rather, the absence of it. And you remain the most important thing of all, your power. Freedom, your own chains. Power lies in emotional freedom, the ability to detach from outcomes, expectations, and external validation. Most people live as prisoners of their emotions, reacting impulsively to every situation, allowing their inner peace to be dictated by others. But a Stoic man understands that true strength comes from mastering himself. Emotional freedom is not about suppressing feelings. It is about breaking the chains that control you, so no one can manipulate your thoughts, reactions, or sense of self-worth. When a woman pulls away, ignores you, or rejects you, the average man becomes desperate. He panics, overthinks, and scrambles for answers. Achieved emotional reacts differently. He does not see rejection as a loss, but as an opportunity to reaffirm his independence. He does not seek closure because he understands that real closure comes from within, not from another person. To keep breaking emotional pain is subtle, difficult. Acceptance. Acceptance of reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. You do not control the actions of others, only your response to them. When you stop resisting the truth and embrace it fully, you liberate yourself from sin. She may leave, she may never return, but you remain whole, unshaken, and unaffected, because your worth is not determined by her presence or absence. This level of detachment is incredibly powerful. It places you in a position of true control over yourself, over your emotions, and over your own life. And paradoxically, this freedom makes you far more attractive. Why? Because people are drawn to those who do not need them. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you command respect. The moment you stop chasing is the moment they start wondering about you. Dark psychology and Stoicism both affirm that human nature is wired for desire, but true desire is fueled by uncertainty and emotional strength. A man who is emotionally free becomes unpredictable. He does not react like the rest. He does not break down, lash out, or cling to the past. Instead, he moves forward with quiet confidence, making it clear that he belongs to no one but himself. This mystery, this detachment, is what makes others question their choices, rethink their actions, and feel drawn back toward him. But emotional freedom is not just about relationships. It applies to every area of life. The workplace, friendships, ambitions, Every challenge you face will test your ability to control your emotions. A Stoic man does not let failures break him or successes define him. He remains steady, calm, and in full command of himself. He does not let the opinions of others dictate his self-worth. He does not allow temporary setbacks to shake his confidence. He moves with purpose, discipline, and an unshakable belief in himself. So how do you break your emotional chains? By shifting your mindset. Stop seeking validation. Stop fearing loss. Stop allowing external circumstances to control your inner world. Learn to embrace discomfort, to accept uncertainty, and to thrive in solitude. When you do this, you will discover the ultimate power, the power of being emotionally free. And once you achieve this, no one will ever have control over you again. Number 8, the reality check. What she's really thinking. Most men torment themselves by overanalyzing a woman's actions, believing there's some hidden meaning behind every move she makes. But the truth is simpler and harsher than they want to admit. When she pulls away, ignores you, or leaves, it's not because she's testing you, secretly hoping you'll chase her, or back with you. No, the hard truth is that in that moment, she believes she can do better. Prioritize herself, desires, and her emotions over you. And instead of seeing it for what it is, most false hope, assuming she's just confused. This is the reality check most men refuse to face. A woman rarely second-guesses leaving a man who shows desperation or weakness. If she sees you falling apart, waiting by the phone, or subtly begging for her attention, you confirm her decision to walk away. But the moment she realizes that you are unaffected, that you have not only moved on but are thriving, her perception shifts. Suddenly she starts to wonder, did I make a mistake? This is where the power comes into play. A man does not let emotions out of his judgment. He accepts reality as it is, not as he wishes it to be. If she left, she left. If she ignored him, she ignored him. That's all the information he needs to make a decision, to detach and focus on himself. He does not waste time dissecting her every move, because he understands that her choices are not within his control. What is in his control is his reaction, and his reaction is simple. He moves forward, undisturbed, as if her absence is insignificant. Now, here's the paradox. When a man stops caring, the dynamics change. A woman expects to be chased, to be reassured that she was special, that she's irreplaceable. But when none of that happens, a new thought creeps into her mind. Why is he chasing me? Why does he seem so unaffected? Has he already moved on to someone better? This uncertainty begins to eat away at her. She starts questioning herself, not because she suddenly loves him again, but because human nature craves validation. And nothing is more unsettling than realizing that someone who once valued you no longer does. Dark psychology proves that the fear of loss is one of the most powerful motivators. When she starts believing that you are truly gone, that's when her mind starts to wander. She may not reach out immediately, but she will start observing from a distance, checking your social media, asking about you through mutual friends, or replaying old memories. But at this point, it no longer matters. The man who has mastered emotional control understands that the past is irrelevant. He has already moved beyond her, and that is the ultimate reality check for both of you. She thought you would wait, that you would cling to her memory, but instead you became stronger, more independent, and completely detached. And now, while she replays the past, you are building your future, unburdened and untouchable. That's the power of Stoicism. That's the power of reality. Number 9, the ultimate Stoic discipline. Becoming irresistible by letting go. Letting go is the ultimate paradox of attraction. The more desperately you chase something, the further it slips away. But the moment you genuinely detach, emotionally releasing her and the outcome entirely, you become incredibly magnetic. Realizing true power lies in complete detachment, in releasing your need for control, validation, or external approval. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you truly let go, you shift your focus inward. Your thoughts become empowered, confident, and free from emotional turbulence. You no longer seek validation from others because you understand that everything you need is already within you." This is where true attraction is born, not from manipulation, tactics, or mind games, but from an authentic place of self-sufficiency. Dark psychology confirms this paradox. People desire what appears out of reach. When you stop chasing and instead cultivate inner peace and independence, your energy shifts. You become a mystery, an enigma, someone who is unshakable. Herself instead of you, and yet, by this stage, your absence become invincible. This is the ultimate Stoic discipline, letting go not as a strategy, but as a way of life. And in doing so, you become truly irresistible.